Hey guys, and welcome back to another video on my channel. This is about the 800th time that I've tried to film this video. As you can see, we're in a new background. We did move into this house yesterday, and I don't know why, but I'm really on edge being here for the first time by myself. But I wanted to film just to stay consistent. It is Friday. Nope, it's not. It's Monday at 5 o'clock, and I am trying to film so that I can get this up tonight, but I just can't seem to get in the swing of things. So I'm trying again, and hopefully this time it goes a little bit better. This background isn't staying the same. I actually have a room here specifically that I'm going to use for YouTube videos, and I'm going to set up the background and make it all cool, but for now, this is what we're working with. So with that all being said, let's try and get into today's video. I started doing research on today's topic after coming across an eye-catching article about a Virginia teen who passed away after practicing voodoo. And this led me down a completely separate rabbit hole. We'll come back to the article closer to the end of the video. For starters, in today's video, I do want to talk about Papa Legba. Now, just to clarify, I am very new to the topic of voodoo. This is actually the first time that I've ever looked into it. So if I get anything wrong or I'm incorrect or have misinformation, please feel free to correct me in the comments, as again, I'm very new to looking into this topic, but I did do a lot of research and I think that I know a little bit of what I'm about to talk about. So this topic in particular is a little bit confusing because there are several misconceptions about Papa Legba and what he represents and who he is in the Haiti religion. But I did a lot of research on this and I think that I finally got it right, but it took me a few times to go down like all of these different rabbit holes that led me to different places. So if I'm not mistaken, he is said to be the like Lord of the Crossroads, and he gives like a very like elderly man vibe and is very well known or identified as this older gentleman who's always accompanied by his two dogs. In my research, I found that he really gives off like a grandfather vibe. He's very friendly and warm and nice, whereas in other TV shows and things like that, they portray him to be this really grumpy, nasty, evil person who's like making you sacrifice babies. I think that was an American Horror Story. Like they just portray him as this really evil, hardcore, like mean person spirit. I would say most people have heard the story of the blues singer Robert Johnson, who met a spirit at the crossroads who he gave his soul to be a guitar genius. And this story has changed so much over the course of time, and people now believe that the person that he gave his soul to was the devil. But in the real story, I do believe that the person that met him at the crossroads was Papa Legba, as it is said that Papa Legba is the kind of like guard between the human world and the spirit world, and nobody can talk to any other spirits before getting through him. Papa Legba is said to be able to talk to all humans, any language, it doesn't matter. He can talk to everybody. He's described as wearing rags, he's frail, he's old, and again, he just gives off this grandfather vibe, which is not what a lot of these articles were saying. This was in a couple of the articles that I read, but in a lot of the articles, it makes him seem like this horrible, scary person, where when I looked into the actual religion, it's quite the opposite. So I'm very confused, but that doesn't take away from what we're going to talk about closer to the end of the video. But I definitely am confused on what's going on here, but as far as I could find, he is much of a nicer spirit than people believe him to be. What caught my attention and made me want to do a video on this topic was a news article that I came across titled "Virginia Teen Dies After Summoning Ancient Haitian Voodoo God Papa Legba." Literally every single article that I could find about this topic was published in 2020. So if you've already heard this, hopefully you'll stay for the video and watch and hear about it again, because I guess I'm kind of late to it. But when I saw this news article, my jaw dropped. I can't believe that this wasn't bigger news, but in the world that we live in, it kind of is a common thing where they'd like to shove these kinds of things under the rug. So I guess it's not that surprising, but this is just so strange. Caitlyn Rustin, known to family and friends as Kat, was a 19-year-old girl from Virginia Beach. She was a very proud mother of a 5-month-old baby girl and was described as bringing the brightness to any gathering. At some point in Caitlyn's life, she took an interest in witchcraft and was a self-proclaimed Wiccan and had an interest in the occult. So Caitlyn was in a relationship with an African-American girl, and at some point they had broken up. For what reason is unknown, but Kat had posted on Twitter, or I guess X now, saying that she was going through a breakup and she needed to be surrounded by love and support. Whatever had caused the breakup made Kat feel like she needed to get back at her girlfriend, and so because of this, she started looking into voodoo voodoo and practicing voodoo herself. Something about Kat that was said to be well known is that she was a part of a lot of witchcraft groups and Wiccan groups on social media, specifically Facebook, and she started posting on these groups saying that she wanted to start practicing voodoo, and she was warned by other witches and people who knew about voodoo that this was very dangerous and she shouldn't be doing that. Now again, I don't know basically anything about voodoo. I wasn't sure if it was a closed practice and I wasn't able to find a direct answer of this, but what I could find is that anybody can practice it, but you do need to be invited by the right people and go through the right steps. I don't know if that's true. It could be a closed practice, but that is just what I found on the internet. Again, people kept warning Kat on how dangerous this was and that she wasn't going about the steps right to start practicing voodoo, and how this was a really bad thing to get mixed up in, but Kat was not listening. Actually, she seemed like she was getting annoyed by these warnings more than anything. She actually had another friend who were also in these social media groups who would defend her and kind of egg her on to do these things and get into arguments with other people in these social media groups who were telling Caitlyn otherwise. On March 29th, 2020, Kat would post her very own puppet doll on her Twitter. And a puppet doll is what I believe is the correct term for a voodoo doll. But yeah, she would post one of that she made herself on her Twitter page. It read, "Let people live and have their own religion. If someone is into something different, accept that. Stop saying no, you come from God. I'm Wiccan and always will be, so shut the blank up and let me be." So first of all, you can tell how aggressive she's getting in these tweets. Like, people telling her to stop practicing this is really driving her nuts. But she goes on to say that she is practicing, she's a Wiccan, she's part of the Wiccan religion, and she always will be. However, this doll that she's posting is not from the Wiccan practice at all, it's from the voodoo practice. And lastly, about this tweet, you can see that this doll has hair, presumably from an African American woman, attached to its head, which I would also assume would be from her ex-girlfriend. And again, in this tweet, you can see her burning this doll. Now we're jumping to April 17th at 11:42 a.m. Kat would post in one of the Facebook Wiccan groups that she was a part of saying, "I seen Papa Legba today and I'm scared." And that would be the last post that Kat would ever make on social media, because on Sunday, April 19th, 2020, 19-year-old Caitlyn Rustin would be found drowned in her bathtub. Now, the odds of this happening after she openly started practicing voodoo, which you're not supposed to do, and she claimed that she had seen Papa Legba, is just terrifying and so wild. And another turn that this case would take, which is why I was trying to describe what Papa Legba actually is like at the beginning of this video, is that people who actually practice voodoo and know a lot about the voodoo Haitian religion would come out and say that it was not Papa Legba that she had seen, because Papa Legba isn't known to be like a bad spirit. This was also accompanied by a woman who actually practices voodoo, who says that she could talk to the spirits, and she said that she had talked to Papa Legba and he had told her that it wasn't her, it was actually a different spirit by the name of Baron Samedi. Now, if I'm not mistaken, these two get confused with one another quite often, but people always portray Papa Legba as what Baron actually is, this much darker kind of evil-like spirit. Baron is the spirit of death, or the bearer of death, and it is said that after seeing him, death does follow, and to communicate with the dead, you have to get through him. And all of the misconceptions of Papa Legba are being confused with Baron, if I'm not mistaken. The main takeaway from this video today is that we shouldn't be messing with things that we don't know anything about, because look how this ended. This is absolutely tragic and awful and terrifying. But guys, that is going to bring us to the end of today's video. If you like this video, please give it a big thumbs up. Don't forget to comment down below what you'd like to see in my future videos, and don't forget to subscribe and turn on that notification bell so that you don't miss any future videos from me. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye guys.